Sadiq alayhi salam says, knowledge is not gained only through learning. You need tawfiq. You have to show Allah something. There has to be a goodness in you where Allah puts light in your heart. Now the question is, how do we receive this light? What can we do to acquire this light? Number one, we have to learn for the right reasons. We have to gain knowledge for the right reason. We have to purify our intentions. And this is important for all of us. Many of you are familiar with Cheikh Abbas al-Qummi. Cheikh Abbas al-Qummi has become a household name. Why? Because he's the compiler of Mafatih al-Jinan. And he's written many books. Mafatih al-Jinan is this book of dua and ziyarah that we have in our homes. He also wrote a book called Muntaha al-Amal. It's a book on the biographies of the Ma'sumeen. He wrote another book called Manazil al-Akhirah, Stations of the Hereafter. There are many people who studied in the seminaries, but we've never heard of them. Why is it that Cheikh Abbas al-Qummi has been elevated? There's so much barakah in his work. Do you know why? It's because he was sincere. His pursuit of knowledge was for the sake of Allah. He wrote this book, Manazil al-Akhirah, when he was relatively young. And his father, the father of Cheikh Abbas al-Qummi, was not a scholar. So he's unique in the sense that he doesn't come from a scholarly family. His father was not an alim. But he used to go to the local masjid, and the imam at the local masjid between Maghrib and Isha, he used to give a speech. And he used to give a speech about the hereafter. And he would use a book, and he would read narrations from this book. And the book was Manazil al-Akhirah. His father would go every evening and he would listen to these lectures that were given by another scholar. He comes home and he sees his young son. And he says to his son that, "Oh my son, the imam at the masjid is delivering a beautiful lecture series on the akhirah, on what happens to the human soul after death. How wonderful would it be if you were to write a book that people would benefit from?" The father did not even know that the book was authored by his son. So he's telling his son that, I pray that Allah gives you tawfiq to write a book like that book. Now at this moment, any person would say that, "Baba, this is my book." Cheikh Abbas al-Qummi doesn't even tell his father that I wrote the book. And his father passes away not knowing that his own son wrote the book Manazil al-Akhirah. Why? Because he did it for Allah. Many people, if you don't put their name on a book, if you don't acknowledge them, they get offended. But Cheikh Abbas al-Qummi, everything that he did was purely for the sake of Allah. So the Prophet says, whoever seeks knowledge to show off, to bolster your reputation, if you do it for worldly reasons, Allah will remove the barakah from that knowledge.